Hey there, Michelle. How's it going today?
Hey, Lindsay, how are you?
I'm feeling great. Michelle, how often do you do your laundry? Intimate question, right?
Yeah, honestly, pretty much every day right now because
Every
it's
day.
the summer. So my kids have been going to camp. They come home with bathing suits and wet towels and things with sand in them, and they need those things for the next day because I
wow.
don't have endless amounts of towels
Yeah,
and
of
bathing
course.
suits for that. So it's pretty much a daily occurrence for my family in the summer. Otherwise, it's I don't know, maybe like every 3 days, maybe. We'll see how it builds
Yeah.
up. What about you?
Yeah. I feel like we're also constantly doing laundry. There's always laundry happening. But when I was in my 20s and I used to go to the laundromat in New York, it was once a week. No
Yeah.
more, no
Yeah.
less.
Right.
Yes.
Right. There's like
Yes.
a laundry, like your laundry day, right?
Yes, your laundry day. For me, it was Sundays, maybe Saturdays, usually Sundays.
Yeah.
You haul your, the New York lifestyle. You haul your laundry down your fourth floor, walk up, walk
Right.
across the street to the laundromat and sit in
Yeah.
the laundromat or go to the coffee shop and wander between the two, right? It's the New York
Yeah.
lifestyle.
Yes, exactly. So guys, we are going to start a series on laundry, which sounds so funny to do something like that. But this is such a, like Lindsay, you were saying, such an everyday topic, such a,
Yes.
sometimes the best topics are your typical daily life that people
Yeah.
talk about.
Well, it's so true because everyday topics are where we connect with people, right? It's
Yes.
those moments where we might run into someone like in the laundromat in New York or in our laundry in our apartment building. There might be a laundry room
Right.
where we have a chance to actually strike up a connection. So we think this is
Yeah.
actually a real connection episode.
Definitely. Yeah. And actually, now that you even said that, I feel like for the episodes I have planned, there is even more to say. So maybe there's really a lot to say about this topic. So people can really connect over this. So we're going to do the first episode over here on All Ears English today. The second episode is actually going to be on the Business English podcast, which is one of our other shows. If you haven't heard it yet, go on over to the Business English podcast and hit follow because then you'll get alerted when this episode is. And that's just a really, really great show as well. It's business, but from the perspective of knowing that you're not a robot when you're at work.
Yes.
So this is for everybody. And I think anybody can get something out of this, even if they're not necessarily at this moment in the business world.
Yes, I 100% agree with you. So guys, go over, open your search bar, type in Business English and hit follow on that show so you don't miss episode 2 in the series. And then like Michelle said, for the third, we'll be back over here. So make sure you are following both podcasts.
Yes.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm curious what we're going to learn today.
Okay, so today we're going to start with the basics. We're going to teach some basic laundry vocabulary to start us off. So we have a lot of content today. So we're going to talk about these and totally unplanned discussions about how we can use these words. Okay, so we can Lindsay, throw in whatever questions you want to ask. I'll throw them in
as we always do.
Yes, exactly. So first one is the most basic, right? Washer dryer.
Yes. Yeah. The two machines, right? And I know they're saying prices of washer dryers might go up right now due to tariff situations happening. So maybe everyone is scrambling to get a washer dryer. And do you have, obviously, I mean, you're a homeowner, so you
now I
probably have a washer dryer in your house. But this is something I didn't take for granted. And I only had one when I bought a townhome, right? So living in apartment buildings, usually you don't have one in your unit unless it's a very modern place.
Did you have one in Boston? I did
actually. Yeah.
you
I did.
had one
when
there?
I moved into Boston, I was shocked. So that's where I got I was thinking, oh my gosh, we actually have a washer dryer in our home, but I had 5 roommates,
right?
so I had to share it, obviously. But yeah, it was amazing. All I had to do was walk down to the basement instead of walking down 4 floors of a walk up and then across the street with your laundry, which is kind of strange, right? But it's the New York life.
Yeah. Well, in New York, in my second apartment, I had the 5 roommates, and there was one in the building, so it was shared. But it is one of those things you have to kind of plan for, right? Especially if it's not in your house or in your apartment, actually the unit, you do have to plan for going and making sure you get things out of time, because you have to be courteous to other people who are waiting for machines. So you do have to plan your life a little bit around the laundry.
You do. Yeah. When we were living in Cambridge, we just decided to do wash and fold because we were done with hauling laundry across the street around the city, and we just started doing wash and fold. It is more expensive, but it's faster. You save time. So instead of doing laundry on a Sunday, you're going for a hike, you know?
Right. Yep.
And sometimes that's a deal worth making.
Right. Sometimes that's what's most valuable to you. So you make that decision. So you could say something like, it's so hard to find an apartment in New York City with a washer dryer in the unit.
Yes. And then, of course, the stuff that you put into your clothes when it's already in the washer is your laundry detergent. So I'm running low on laundry detergent. Right?
Yes. Lindsay, do you use scented or unscented?
I think we use unscented. Unscented. Yeah.
Same. I used to use scented and I don't know. I just eventually, I don't know. I was trying to always stay away from fragrances and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah, you can have allergies. Some people have allergies, right? And I had a period a few years ago where I broke out in hives, and I thought it was my detergent, but I never figured out what it was. It just went away. It was so weird.
Lindsay, I had the same thing happen to me, but really? It was like for a month and a half that it kept on coming and going.
Yeah,
and I went to
the same thing. Oh my gosh, we have to talk.
We'll have to talk about this later. This is not really the sexiest conversation.
Not the forum.
So yeah, I'm running low on laundry detergent. And then there's fabric softener. Lindsay, what's fabric softener?
I don't really know. I don't use this. I
don't either.
This feels like an extra for me. I guess it's an additional thing you put in there to make your clothes soft. Is that what it is?
I guess so. And then it also has a smell. I don't know. I used to use it, but now I don't use it anymore either. I'm just very basic on my laundry.
Yeah, keep it basic, keep it simple, right? So here's a sample sentence. If you do use fabric softener, I always use fabric softener on my clothes. Yes. Okay.
Now, let's talk about one thing that's really important with the laundry is the directions, right? And do you follow the directions? Because on your clothes, it will tell you what to do on the tag. Now, Lindsay, do you follow the directions?
Oh, I try to, but honestly, I just want to wash and dry everything because it's faster. But I know that for many things, you should lay flat to dry. You should hand wash. But who has the time?
Yeah, right? I know. So are you ever purchasing something at the store and then you see how it needs to be washed and you think just forget it, or maybe you avoid buying something because you think it's always going to be wrinkly, it's going to be a hassle?
No, that's so true. And I've bought things and I've thought to myself, this is always wrinkled, like it's always got wrinkles. How am I going to deal with this? So high maintenance clothing I try to stay away from.
Do you iron?
I try to iron. I think I never learned how to iron properly.
I
don't iron. No, like I wouldn't iron for today, for our recording for today. But if I go to a conference, so if I put my bags, that's the only time I iron, honestly. If I put like my my button down shirts in a bag and then I fly, right, I'll take them out and I will iron when I get to the hotel room. That is the only time. So twice a year I iron.
That's good. Yeah, that's 2 more times than me. Okay. So we've thrown out some of these already. So hand wash only. Yeah, you can't stick that in the dryer. I mean, in the washer, I probably still would, but
really. So for example, you might say something like, I need a few minutes to wash this because it says hand wash only, and you're going to see that on the label most of the time. Right?
Yes. Then there's dry clean only. Oh man, this is what I try to stay away.
No, this is not. It's very expensive to dry clean, isn't it, Michelle?
Yes.
And you have to, and it's not just the expense, but it's taking it to the dry cleaner, remembering to pick it up. I'm pretty sure I probably have things at the dry cleaner that I forgot to pick up 6 months ago.
Right, exactly. So, you might say, this is dry clean only. I think we need to take it in. So a lot of times Dan will have, I wonder if it's more for like men who, I don't know. Women certainly do dry clean only too, but I feel like Dan is always like, oh, I have all these things I need to dry clean, and I don't know. Maybe I just don't care
for men's suits or something.
Yeah, maybe. Right. Suits, things like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, love it. Okay, Michelle, we're back now. I mentioned this earlier. So lay flat to dry. And this is what you might see on the care label of a piece of clothing. And usually the care label is more on the inside, on the side of your clothes, at least for shirts, I think.
Right.
And you might see lay flat to dry. So what's a sentence for that, Michelle?
Yeah, don't put that in the dryer. It's lay flat to dry. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting how we say that, right? Because you could say it says lay flat to dry, but wouldn't you sometimes hear it like this? Like, oh, it's lay flat to dry.
I think that's the way I used it earlier in the episode, actually. So it's like, it's this way. That's really interesting. So just good one to know here. Very native and natural.
And that's like, that's a very, I feel that that's a very important instruction because Lindsay, I mean, I'm sure everyone has experienced shrinking their clothes.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
yes.
That's the worst.
Or the worst is shrinking other people's clothes.
Oh,
that's even worse.
Oh, I forgot one. There's also wash with with like colors, right?
Like colors, yes.
Like
it's so funny.
colors.
When I was a kid and I would read that label on like my clothes, I would think, did they mistype it? Did they mean light colors? Right? Thinking if it was a light shirt, it needs to be with light colors, but like colors meaning similar colors, right?
Right. So you don't throw the red underwear in with all your white shirts. That's the thing.
Yes. These are all just mishaps that happen to us especially when we're teenagers and just doing our laundry for the first time, right?
Sure. Yeah. Separate. So you might see separate lights and darks or something like. Take that red shirt out of there. This is a load of light clothes.
And I don't do that. Do you do that? Do you separate? I don't.
Oh, separate. Absolutely not. I have no time for separating. I mean, maybe my clothes could look a little nicer if I followed some of the directions. I did buy a shirt and Dan threw it in the dryer and it's already, it's too small. So those kinds of things happen all the time, but I will not separate anything. Everything goes in the same thing.
Well, this is kind of fun. And this is why this is a connection episode. If you're not connecting listeners on the topic, think about how it's a connection episode because we have our ways, right? Both you and I don't separate. It's just, and there's that is again, saying something more about ourselves than just the fact that we don't separate what light and dark.
Yes.
It's saying that we are busy or we have things to do or we have other priorities.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
I think that's what it's is about, is having the priorities. So everybody's different, right?
Totally. Or it might be that maybe we don't value clothing quite as much as other people do. Some people will hang dry everything and they will share that because they're proud of that, because they want to keep their clothing good. Maybe they buy super high-end clothes or something. So this is a topic, again, where you can say so much more about yourself than just about the laundry, your laundry habits. Right?
True. That's really interesting. And then the last one I just wanted to highlight is tumble dry. So that is just throwing it in the dryer. Sometimes you might see tumble dry low, like there's a certain level at which to tumble dry it. I don't really pay attention to that either, but
Michelle, why don't we hop into the role play here? Shall we go for it?
Let's do it. So
all right.
Here we are, roommates, and we're doing our laundry together. Here we go.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay. So, oh no, this is dry clean only. I'll take it to the place across the street.
Okay. Remind me not to throw in my green dress again. It's hand wash only.
Okay, I will. Man, I wish we had our own washer dryer.
Same. Hey, did you bring the laundry detergent and fabric softener?
Yes, right over there.
Thanks.
Okay, so should we separate lights and colors? What about delicates?
I guess try our best. Just let's make sure not to tumble dry something that says lay flat to dry.
Okay, good point.
Yeah, and this is actually another interesting moment where connection could happen for our listeners. So if you're living in a big city and you go to the laundromat, maybe you happen to go with your roommate one day for whatever reason, you and your roommate go together. That could happen, right, Michelle? And this is a way you'll have the vocabulary to get to know your roommate in that moment, because you're sitting there for a couple of hours just staring at the thing going around.
It is true, right? I mean, I think whenever I think of the laundromat, of course I think of Friends, because there's an episode with Ross and Rachel in the laundromat. That's a pretty famous episode.
Fun.
Yeah. So I always think of that, but it is true. The laundromat is kind of known for being this place where people can connect. You're just waiting. That's all you got to do, so
it's true. Yeah, it's so true. I'm trying to remember if in other cities, I don't even remember if when I lived in Paris, if I think we did it at home in my homestay, my little apartment, but I don't know around the world if people go to laundromats or if they usually have a place in their apartment or in their home or how it works, wash and fold, where they carry it away for you. I don't know. It's probably all different scenarios, but at some point we're going to have this conversation with someone, right, Michelle?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go through the role play.
Okay.
I said, oh no, this is dry clean only. So I'm going to take it in somewhere.
And then I said, remind me not to throw in my green dress again. It's hand wash only. So it sounds like I made that mistake before.
You made a boo-boo.
And I don't want to do it again. Yes.
And then I said, man, I wish we had our own washer dryer.
Mm-hmm. Good. And then I said, hey, did you bring the laundry detergent and fabric softener? So again, we talked about those words.
And then I said, okay, so should we separate lights and colors? So we're talking about, if we want to wash with like colors, basically. And then I said that, what is delicates? I said, what about delicates?
Delicates.
What does that mean?
So I guess items that are like, you have to be careful with them. They have to go on the delicate cycle, potentially.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. So I think of like bras
or bathing suits, maybe.
Maybe bathing suits. Just things
stretch.
are certain clothing that just lighter, underwear sometimes. But I also don't do this. So
yeah, that's hard. I don't do a separate cycle for those. No way.
No. No. So, and then let's see. You said just let's make sure not to tumble dry something that says lay flat to dry. So it sounds like we've had an issue in the past where we've done some shrinking and
maybe even with each other's clothing, right?
Yeah.
That's not good. Yeah, not good. Well, good episode today. Michelle, where else can our listeners go right now to keep going with All Ears English?
Okay, so there was another great episode you did with Aubrey, I believe. Another great connection topic. Episode 2476 was Out of Juice, How to Connect Over Dead Batteries. It's interesting how we were picking up on these kind of mundane day-to-day topics that actually are super great for connection. It's funny.
Absolutely. It's where the connection lies, right? That is where the connection is. If we just pay attention to who are we with, who's around us, and what are the words we need in that moment. I think that's inspiring. Even laundry can be inspiring. Look at that,
Michelle. So excellent. All right, guys, again, find Business English wherever you listen to your podcasts and hit the follow button because part 2 will be coming out soon, and then head back over here for part 3. So
all right.
Yeah. I think takeaway is just what we were saying, Lindsay, about the mundane topics being great for connection. So definitely don't, throw those by the wayside or think, oh, that's, not that interesting or whatever, because it actually can bring about a lot of connection. So don't ignore these or kind of push them away. They're very important.
Completely agree, Michelle. Thanks for hanging out and chatting about laundry detergent, fabric softener, all that good stuff.
Yes,
so I'll see you next time.
Anytime. All right, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.